Hi there, everyone. Just another quick video. It's not really much. It's a question a few people around about me have asked about what's it like to have a binge eating disorder. And it's a bit. I can't. It's really difficult to describe. To quote the old Pink Floyd song, "There's someone in my head, but it's not me." That's essentially what takes over me is when I'm finding like whenever I get stressed or whenever my emotions kind of swing hard one way or the other. Like I said, the example I used in previous video was there was this big coursework for college I had to do, and it got quite intense. So it was like really hard work to get this done, and whole week I was up late. I was up till 2 3 a.m. and then getting up after a few hours to go to the gym again, and then come Friday I finish it and it's handed in, and the relief washed right over me, and it was going from that high stress to this sort of the direct opposite end. And then basically it's like just a little switch goes off in your head and the desire for food is there. And you can't reason when you get into that. And let's say the fog falls down and I just have to eat. I've got to eat, and that's the thing I'm trying to do right now is identify the triggers that bring that down on me, and somehow try and get them under control to the point where I don't have these episodes. Like I say, the good thing right now is that my episodes are only about a week long, and then before the fog finally lifts and I can get back to a proper routine. But yeah, it's just such a bizarre thing because I know logically my logical brain just disappears and it's like your emotions just take over for that while. I would probably say it's a lot better than it used to be in one respect that since I've lost a good bit of weight, I get far more positive encouragement now. I know that might not necessarily be a good thing that I'm only getting encouraged because it's visible that I've lost weight, but it's still better than previously when all people would comment on is how much weight I've gained and all the kind of jokes and jibes and all that came with it. Because that essentially just made me retreat more and more into my disorder, because I was just saying to myself, well, fuck it, I'm fat and this is the one thing that comforts me. No one else is giving me this. And I kind of, over the years, the past, I don't know how long has this been, I would say past since I hit 30, I was always overweight, but then when I hit 30, the weight started to really pile on. No, isn't that? I would say that. Yeah, about that 30. Yeah, just shortly after my 30th was when I think I developed this, because I started putting on weight when I was in sort of in 23, 24, and sort of fluctuated. It was never too bad. I put on obvious weight, but I never got to a really bad point. But then around 30, I think that's essentially I'm not too sure how it progressed or how it got to that point, but I do remember very clear things that I was always reluctant to come back here to my hometown to visit, because I would have to go visit relatives, and relatives were always so very eager to point out that you put on weight. That was the first thing, and strangely enough, my parents coming to visit, because the first thing they comment on is my weight, and it just felt like everyone was commenting on my weight, and I just retreated so far back into my psyche. And yeah, I just remember, and then it was I took up a new job, and this new job just essentially I worked on my own all the time, and I just lost control. I was isolated completely. I also got an apartment of my own in the middle of the city I was living in, and I was working on my own. I was working 12-hour days on my own. I was completely alone, and only real times I had contact with people, all they would do was comment on how much weight I put on, and that just fed into this cycle, and I just kept eating. And that's when I started eating horrendous amounts of food, really obscene amounts of food. And I never really questioned it. So I haven't questioned it for years. It was only this year. I've lost, I came back 2 years ago. I lost some weight when I came back, and it sort of fluctuated. And then, like I said, I was away for the summer, and yeah, the job was quite stressful at times. It did put me under some emotional duress at times, but nothing awful. I wasn't bullied or anything. It was just the work I did in the summer was quite stressful now and again. And before I left, I was eating very well. I was going to the gym and all that. And then, so when I went away, I stopped and I just went for all the easy options. And I remember getting stressed at work, just coming home. No, gotta eat a whole heap of food. And through the day, snacking. And my lunches were awful. My breakfasts were even worse. I was stopping into the shops just to get more and more to eat and things to eat while I'm walking and all that. And yeah, it got pretty bad. And then, because I came back and, I had this feel something's just not right. That I have these episodes. I'm having these bizarre episodes where I'm just eating uncontrollably, and it can't be right that I eat. Because say, like, when it's happening to me, I'm sort of aware of all the food being shoveled into my mouth, and then suddenly I'm aware of the stomach pain because I've eaten till essentially I'm close to bursting at times, and I'm sort of aware of that, and then I would like fall asleep in a sort of haze, this bizarre haze, and I would remember waking up and just feeling awful. That's the thing. When I go on my binge, I cannot sleep properly, and sleep, I think, is also a link to it. When I'm sleeping good, I can eat good, and I can drink all the water I need and keep things. But I think when my sleep pattern gets disrupted, it's really bad. I think it's completely overlooked when anyone's trying to sort their health out. But yeah, it's like, and the other thing is probably the amount of money you will waste on binging is incredible. That I've got a book through there. It's part of my recovery program right now, and it shows some receipts of clients of the author, and just really incredible amounts. And I was in that. My money. I don't know, a couple of almost £10 a day sometimes, just completely on food, just eating utter, no food is really rubbish, but not eating really nutritious food for myself. And that's the thing. Since I was diagnosed and I've noticed I've got a lot more money to spend. Even as a student, it's incredible the difference this has made to my finances. And then when I go on a binge week, I notice the sharp drop off my bank balance. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if this is helping, but that's what it's a bizarre, it's a strange. I cannot describe it to anyone else. It is this fog that comes down, and the other thing is I become not aggressively antisocial, but I will block out people. I won't be rude or anything. If someone comes to talk, I'll be perfectly, but I will try and avoid people desperately, because that was one thing. Is 2 weeks ago there was a movie on at the local cinema here. I went up, watched it, and two girls from my gym that I'm very friendly with were sitting there at the bar. They didn't see me. I saw them, but I just went out that door. Avoided any eye contact. They've never commented on it. I've spoken to them since, and they didn't notice it. And yeah, it's embarrassing things like that, and that can happen. You do go into this bizarre trance-like state, and yeah, my isolation at times, because when I was living in the city, I was alone constantly. I lived on my own. Where the company I worked for, I was in a shed out in the yard, completely on my own working. I didn't really interact with anyone for weeks and weeks and weeks. And yeah, I think that's all the things that contribute, and that's when I really piled on a hell of a lot of weight. I became morbidly obese at that point. It's coming down now. and also obviously the whole stormtrooper thing. That's giving me something to aim for. Because yeah, I think one of the things, because just as a side thought, was when I get this armor, and I will get this armor, I fully intend to do charity stuff with it, to raise awareness for eatings, or just even I can just say, look, I beat it, and you can too. Because the other thing was, it was International Men's Day. I maybe should have made a video that day to help them, but I didn't think about it on the day. I just made that other one. I didn't realise it was men's. But yeah, it's support for men for this is a bit lacking. There are good forums, and I'm on a few of them, and they've all been great. But it's nowhere near as prevalent as it is for women. It does affect women a lot more, but I think the rate amongst men like myself is shooting up dramatically, and of all kinds of eating disorders. But yeah, it's a strange state of mind to get into. I say I try and view my binges when they do the two that I've had since I started this plan, and I try and view them in as positive a light as I can. I mean, obviously the first one I had, I was quite visibly upset at the time, but that's the one that led to my diagnosis, and I view that as a positive. If it wasn't for that video, if it wasn't for the feedback I got and the direct messages that people were genuinely worried for me, they saw that video and they said, there's something not right with you. That's not who you are, and that's not the person I know. So that led to good things. And my last binge it was a lot shorter, quite intense at times. I did really overeat, but I've got to own it and admit it. I put on about 6 to 7 pounds, and so yeah, I've got a bit of work to redo, but it's all good. It's just practice for when I get there. But yeah, that's sort of my insights about the eating disorder, what it's like, and I hope I always hope these videos are of some worth to somebody. But like I say, if you know of anyone, these videos might help, these confessionals, or in general, or if you're on this journey, just let me know. I know I don't have a lot of fun. I'm still in single figures with my subs, but I don't know. If you're watching, and just please share this. I would like more subs. I would like to kind of get a little community going here. Just thank you all very much. These videos do help. I mean, even it's just good to vent these things at times, and hopefully I can look back on the years, because I know at least one of my friends, he's storing all these videos so he can watch my entire journey, the ups, downs, and all the bits in between. Anyway, thanks again. This has just been it's another off the cuff video, and I hope it helps, and I'll speak to you all very soon. All right, take care.